Baker Mayfield. What are you thinking?
I think I think the Buccaneers are an awful organization and they don't know what they're doing. And I think that they keep him around in Tampa Bay. And I think if they mess around and leave this, win this division, that they're going to remain with Todd Bowles and Baker Mayfield, which is okay. It's an analogy. It's a long analogy, people, but I'm going to go ahead and say it. There are people out there, because trust me, I'm one of these people who are very upset sometimes. Like, these people are on welfare. They can do this. They can do that. They have, because trust me, I know someone personally who's literally on welfare and she's on vacation all the time. She's traveling. She's going to Wisconsin. She's going to Ohio. She's literally always doing something, but she never works. She hasn't worked in over a decade. But she's not going to get anywhere with her life because of this situation, because she's not working. There's no ambition. They just give her, and that's all it is. Same thing with Todd Bowles and Baker. It's complacency. You're never going to go up. You're never going to be better than what you are. You're just going to be a 7-win team your entire life because you play in the NFC South, and then you have a mid quarterback and a mid head coach, and you have no ambition to get better. And that's what's happening in Tampa Bay, unfortunately. So if you keep with this system with Baker Mayfield and Todd Bowles, Baker's a backup quarterback. Let's just be honest. He is. He's not it. The only reason why he's doing so well this season is because of the Johnny Manziel effect. Mike Evans makes quarterbacks better. Just the way it is. Mike Evans is just that good. He's a Hall of Famer, best in the world. If you watch a Buccaneers game, it's struggle, long ball to Mike Evans. Boom, there's Baker's stats. He makes bad decisions. He holds onto the ball too long. He's trash. So where do I see him next season? Backing up somewhere. Or he stays in Tampa if they win the division. But this guy's a true backup. If you own him and if you roster him in Dynasty right now and you're out of it, he's someone I would try to move right now, because when he does become an unrestricted free agent, you're looking at a backup at best. You're looking at a Gardner Minshew situation. Where do we really see this guy going? Do you see him being a starter going forward? He hasn't really proved anything. He hasn't done anything this season to make you think he's a starter.
I can agree with that. I think he ends up going to the Buccaneers still. I think he gets re-signed. That's Bo Nix range if that doesn't fall anywhere. In fact, this mock draft has Bo Nix going 11 to the Raiders. So they could take a quarterback, but it's not going to be one of the best quarterbacks. So do you take that quarterback? Like, in my opinion, there's two quarterbacks out there that you want this year. It's Drake May and Caleb Lawrence. Everybody else should be like a late first round,
Caleb Lawrence?
second rounder. Caleb Williams. I don't know why I'm thinking about Lawrence, but I think Baker ends up staying here. I agree with you about they're just not getting better. So
you're just staying in place, complacent.
Mm-hmm.
When someone sets you up with something and you get like you're just comfortable and you don't want to move because you think life is so good, that's where you're dead. And that's where the Buccaneers are right now. And it's been that way for a long time here. All right, so last night I was on the Beer and Sports podcast with Josh Wingate. I do that every Monday night. And I already went off over there. The first 15 to 20 minutes was me going off. So I'll keep this one short and sweet. That Friday episode, Dynasty, especially that topic, was where will they land next season, not what they're doing currently this season. Now, I understand you guys think quarterback 15, 16, 17 is awesome, right? You guys think that's great. That's Baker right now. Baker's quarterback 15 right now. You guys think that's great, and he's this, and he's that, and he's amazing. He has a completion percentage lower than Justin Fields. He's made only by Mike Evans. He's bottom of the barrel in all efficiency. I sent you the screenshot this morning, Justin. He's like 30th in this, 30th in deep completion percentage, 30th in play action completions, clean pocket percentage. He's like 27th. He's just inaccurate. He makes bad decisions. He doesn't really make you a winning football team. Matter of fact, they're not even a winning football team. They're below 500. So the question was, is he playing good enough to get a starting role next season? And if he's on your dynasty team now, what should you do? What should you expect for the future? So we're projecting to the future. I brought up Carson Wentz today. I brought up Carson Wentz to you, Justin, to nobody else. His last starting role was actually Washington after he left Indy. But Wentz last season in Indy, he had 3,565 yards, 27 touchdowns, only 7 interceptions, with a 62.4% completion percentage, with a 94.6 rating. All of those are better than Baker, yet they dumped him. They dumped him to the curb, and they went to Matt Ryan. Baker this season, 2,934 yards, 62.6% passer rate, 20 touchdowns, 8 interceptions, and an 89.7 rating. So you're telling me he has worse numbers than Carson Wentz in that 2021 season with the Colts. And they dumped him. And he was doing well for fantasy because I rostered him. But Baker is less than Carson, but he's going to keep the job. He's good. He's gold. He's a pimp. I saw one of the comments. Oh, he threw 26 touchdowns in his rookie season. Who gives a crap? Who cares? We're talking about next year. We're talking about 2024 and where he's going to be and where he's going to land. So if you're too stupid to understand that, that's on you. You're not watching for the right content. You're hate watching, which is okay. Thank you for supporting. Thank you for the views. All your comments got us to grow our page a little bit more. So I appreciate you. Thank you. Continue to come back and watch us for more insight. Call me dumb, call me whatever, but you're the one banking on a lame duck quarterback, not me. That's on you.
Yeah, I just want to touch up real quick on that comment, those comments too, because again, this is fantasy football. Nobody pretends that fantasy football stats are real stats. Like their fantasy points correlate to real life. Whereas if Justin Fields was healthy the entire season, was a top 5 QB, why are the Bears maybe drafting a quarterback next year? Fantasy stats don't mean anything in real life, and that's what we are also talking about. We are mixing the two together. Where will a quarterback be next year? Are they good enough to elevate the Is Baker Mayfield good enough to elevate the Tampa Bay Buccaneers to a playoff contender, to a divisional? I mean, that the division's trash anyway, so all you got to do is win 9 games, I think. That's what we're talking about. Cool, Baker's doing great, but is he good enough to elevate, or should they look at another quarterback in the offseason?
And great for him as quarterback 15. That's the sad part. Great for him as quarterback 15, which isn't even top 12, which shouldn't be starting on most casual leagues. Not everyone plays super flex. So he's not even a starter in the majority of leagues.
Correct.
And as real life football, Dynasty, you have to mix that real life aspect to it, because if he's not playing well, he's out. And he's not playing well. I don't care what you guys see, what you guys think. Sure, he's putting up fantasy points. That's fine. Fantasy points are a lot different, like Justin said, than real life NFL. And when Jason Light and the management over there in the Buccaneers and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers organization sit down, they're not going to be looking, oh, well, he scored 22.6 points against the Falcons. Or, oh, wow, he did this against the whoever Saints. They're not looking at his fantasy points. Oh, he had 33 rushing yards, which was actually elevated his fantasy production. They're looking at what mistakes did he make? How many times did he throw bad passes? By the way, top 5 in both danger plays and interceptable balls this year. Top 5 in both categories. I'm just saying, you guys can crown him, think he's going to be the starter for the Buccaneers for forever, or go somewhere else and ball out. That's on you. The bottom line, he's going to be a backup next year. Suck it. Moving on to the last and final guy.
Let's move on to our GOAT.
The guy who's making us famous.
When I woke up this morning, I was feeling pretty dangerous.
Listen, Baker Mayfield, I want to get this clear, and I'm not going to go on a huge tangent because I don't have time for that. I got to get shit done. Sorry, Bobby. I never said he was bad at fantasy football, and I would never said he wasn't an asset, because he's on multiple of my leagues. He actually helped me move on to a quarterfinal, semifinals. I was talking about next year. This year, this game that he just had, he was phenomenal. Baker baked. Baker was on a different level. Baker is playing for his job, because guess what? Whether you like it or not, he knows he's playing for a job. He knows he needs to impress the upper staff. He knows he needs to put great tape out there. And he's trying to also get his team into the playoffs. Baker's been playing really well throughout this season. The past couple weeks against Carolina, Atlanta, no. But against Green Bay, he freaking had the best game of his season. Best game by far, 381 yards, 78% completion percentage, which, trust me, his season total is 63%. So he definitely played over his head. He definitely played above what he's been putting out the rest of the year. So don't come at me with these takes of, you said this about Baker. Yes, he had a great game. Yes, he scored 20 points, fantasy points in the past 2 weeks. I get that. But what was he doing weeks 11, 12, and 13 when he scored 11, 14, and 10? Where were you then? Exactly. You can have bad games. You could have good games. The point is, if you're down a quarterback, if you're down Herbert and you're streaming, if you're down, Geno Smith and you're streaming, or any of these other guys, if you have Tua and you're afraid of Dallas, right? Some people are. I definitely am. I know that Dallas has got torched, but I get that. If you have Sam Howell and he got benched and you're worried about Sam Howell's future, Baker's not a bad situation. I would definitely start Baker over those guys I just named. I'm trying to find out who the Buccaneers are playing, to be completely. The Jaguars at home again in Tampa Bay, 4:00 game. This is actually a classic Buccaneers trap game, so be prepared for that, guys. But I would start Baker this week over the guys I just named. I don't know what else to say about Baker. I don't want any more of your mean comments. They're hurting me. They're making me lose sleep at night in my mother's basement. So, Justin, I'll let you talk.
The important thing to note is that this was about dynasty football when we talked about Baker Mayfield. He's doing great right now. Great. Cool. Everybody learns. When we were talking about him being trash, he just played Carolina and got 10 points. He got 29 points last week, which is fantastic. Baker is winning people games. I've got Baker in starting lineups other than the one that I benched him in and then I lost that game, which does suck. But yeah, that's the reality. Sometimes you take chances and you lose on them. I have no doubt Baker will do great the last 3 weeks of the season against Jacksonville, New Orleans, and Carolina. He's got 2 divisional matchups to play. He has to win both of those so that he can actually get to the playoffs with the Buccaneers. Past the season, I don't know about Baker. I don't know if I would even continue to roster him, but yeah, it's going to be important. Go get Baker if he's out there. For some reason, if you're in a 1 quarterback league, he's probably out there. If you lost to another quarterback, you have Trevor Lawrence, Will Levis, for some reason, Zach Wilson. Go get Baker Mayfield. You might as well.
Yeah, Baker, one more time.
When I woke up this morning, I was feeling pretty dangerous.
We're a Baker podcast, baby. We love Baker. Baker used to be the spokesman for the company I work for. Baker's my dude.
I love his commercials.
But that being said, not going back on my word, I don't think I think this, and I'll leave it at this. If Baker messes around and beats Jacksonville, then they beat New Orleans and they beat Carolina and they make the playoffs, it's probably the worst thing that can happen to the Buccaneers, because now you're stuck in this mediocre quarterback again. That's fine. Think what you want about Baker. He's a mediocre quarterback at best, 15, 16, 17th range. That's okay. Not everyone's going to be top 10. Not everyone's Mahomes. I get it. But again, for fantasy purposes, he's been putting up numbers. He's hot and he's cold. He's hot and he's cold. He's never in the middle. It's either super high or super low. So you're playing with fire if you're playing with Baker, and that's okay if that's what you want to do in the semifinals. I am. I'm putting him in some matchups. I have to. I lost Herbert. I lost Stroud. He was my last resort.
Thanks for listening. Be sure to like and subscribe wherever you watch or listen to podcasts. Follow on X and Instagram at OUSFFPOD. We'll be back next week for more ways to win your league.